And who do you represent?
The oldest Sean Charles Band of Biloxi-Chitimacha, Choctaw.
Your community is primarily a fishing community?
It's fishing, shrimping, oysters.
They live from the Gulf?
Yeah, we live from the Gulf and we live from the land. But we can't live from the land anymore. Okay.
As a result of the BP disaster, what changes have taken place in your community?
Hardly any people own boats anymore. There's a few people who still fish and shrimp the waters, but they only do so because they have to put food in the freezer and on the table. We used to sell seafood. We used to dry the shrimp. We used to sell our vegetables, and we can't do that anymore. You know, between the toxic chemicals that have come in and the salt water intrusion, it's hard to tell which is the bigger culprit. They've both been equally devastating.
Have there been any health implications in your community based on the BP disaster?
People keep getting these sores. Some bacteria, and if they don't catch it like in the first 24 hours, then they don't get rid of it. It spreads, it oozes, it's painful, you know, and it's not just our community, it's the neighboring communities as well. You know, people in neighboring communities, they've parked their boats, long-term fishermen, they've got the infection in their legs, and they're disabled.
How do you feel about the safety of the seafood?
I don't eat it.
And it was once your staple?
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, flatbeds full of crawfish, shrimp balls all the time, sacks of oysters, you know, sit around and shuck the oysters, and that's the way we live. Freezer's full. Now you go to the grocery store and you buy your food. You know, it doesn't come from Louisiana anymore.
So, aside from the loss of jobs as a result of this, you're also feeling an economic hardship by having to buy your groceries?
Yeah. It used to be free from the Creator, free from Mother Earth, and it's not there anymore. I would tell them that the Gulf of Mexico once had no oil exploration going on. That when oil exploration began in the Gulf of Mexico, it's my understanding that the Gulf of Mexico was the fall guy for the East Coast and the West Coast to protect the waters there from drilling. And that now what lays underneath the Gulf of Mexico is a series of just a maze of pipes, you know, and rotting oil rigs, and when you go into deep water, they know. You know, my adopted dad went on exploration, the Glomar Challenger, and came back, and he was a micropaleontologist for Shell, and he came back and he started alerting Shell that they were damaging the continental shelf. And that didn't go over good, and started calling his congressmen and, you know, senators and the president and whatnot, and you have to stop this and we have to find a different way. And that was back in, what, the 70s, late 70s? And they know, you know. In New Zealand, they're sure to know the consequences of oil exploration, especially deep water. All they have to do is look at us to know what's happened here. That what they cherish for their seafood and their way of life is going to be changed. They're going to look back another 50 years from now and say, what did we do? And they're not going to be able to reverse it. Because right now we're in a situation we can't reverse it. Modern man is greedy, and it really doesn't care about the small guy.
It's been said that the Gulf of Mexico, especially in the Louisiana area, is considered part of the nation's energy sacrifice zone. How does that make you feel?
Angry. I think we could have chose a different way. I think we've had knowledge for different ways, green energy, for a very long time, but we didn't put it into practice because big oil makes money. And that's what makes people happy, is money. So I think I'll forever be angry about that. I think my children are going to be angry about that. My grandchildren are going to be angry about that. My great-grandchildren to come are going to be angry about that, because what we're going to leave them as a result, it's not going to be pretty. I think our ancestors are really sad. I think our ancestors went through a lot of work, a lot of grief, a lot of care for Mother Earth. And look what we've done. I think they look down and they're angry. And they're waiting. I think they keep showing us a way, a different way. And I think it's up to us to change that. And spiritually, I have no other choice. You know, I'm responsible for my family, but I'm also responsible for the blade of grass. I'm responsible for the tree. You know, I'm responsible for what happens to the next generations. And I can't live with myself if I don't act.